to celebrate.
Hi, welcome to my podcast. I've recorded this around 10 times now. I'm getting very impatient, but this podcast series will be about my favorite games. The whole basis of each episode is going to be that I introduce the game to you, kind of where the story's at so far, what are some of the features. Then I'll go ahead and tell you why I like this game. So this first game that we're going to talk about is called Honkai Star Rail, released by Hoyoverse, sorry, in 2023, I think, April 2023. I'll put the specific date on the screen. So we're coming up on the first anniversary, so that means there's a lot of events going on in the game. You start off by choosing between two protagonists, the male or the female one, the male being Callus and the female one being Stell. You're on this space station called Herta Space Station, and you meet two characters immediately called Danhung and March the 7th. Yeah, she's named after a day for whatever reason. Actually, yeah, I know the reason, but you'll figure that out later. As you explore the space station, you run into another character named Arlen who's injured, and then another character who knows Danhung and March 7th, Himeka. At the end of this space station mission, you have to fight this big doomsday doomsday beast, sorry. And when you're saving March 7th in a cutscene, you find out you have something called a Stellaron in you. The Stellaron is like this all-powerful star that should actually kill you if you have it in it, or if it's in you apparently. It doesn't kill you. You're alive, and you meet the last character of something called the Astro Express, well, Yang. The Astro Express is a train, a space train, which is actually a really cool concept, that travels the universes to try and fix Stellaron crises. Since you've got a Stellaron in you, literally, they want you to board the Astro Express, and you do, or you don't, and if you don't, the game actually ends immediately, but since people actually want to play the game, you do. You meet Pom Pom, the bunny conductor of this train, and you start journeying to different places across the cosmos. There's 4 places out so far, the first place being Herta Space Station, which is very science research themed. It's run by a puppet named Herta. She's part of something called the Genius Society, which is part of the very, very rich lore of this game. The second place you go to is a ice planet called Urilo 6, and you go to the only city, the last remaining city of that planet, which is Belobog, I think. You meet several different characters there, you solve a Stellaron crisis there. Then you go to the third place, which is a ship from the Xianzhou fleet. It's called the Xianzhou Luofu, and it's where Danhung is from. He was like reincarnated, and spoiler alert, he's a dragon apparently. He gets a dragon form, he gets a 5-star form. He's one of the most powerful characters actually. There you solve another Stellaron crisis, because most of the problems on these planets are root from the Stellaron actually. The last planet out right now, or I don't know if it's technically a planet, it's a hotel. It's called Penacony, and it's like this festive place which has a reality version and a dream version, and there's corrupt things going on, and there's some of my favorite characters there. Sampo from Urilo 6 is one of my favorite characters, and he comes back in this planet. Then there's also Gallagher, he's like a bartender. Sunday, he's like this angel that's part of something called the Family, which is another piece of lore. Actually, I think that's a good transition into why I really like Honkai Star Rail. I'm a very story rich type of person. I love reading about the lore. There's like a data bank thing, and it talks about all the lore. And I think it's got such rich and interesting lore, maybe because it's sci-fi themed. There's different factions, like the Genius Society, which is full of really smart people. The Masked Fools, which are people who follow something called the Elation, or no, Aha. It's just literally like a floating mask, and they follow it for whatever reason. Another part of Honkai Star Rail, and actually like the big basis of the game, is the characters. Most players have a favorite character. Mine is Sampo, which I mentioned earlier. You have to pull for these characters in the gacha system, and actually like most players hate the gacha system because like it steals your money or whatever. But I get really lucky with the gacha in my opinion. I've gotten the characters I've wanted so far and I like it, honestly. Maybe that's not a good thing since like I could totally waste a bunch of money on that. But I like pulling for my favorite characters. There's Kafka, who's one of my favorite characters. She's a Stellaron hunter. She's actually the person at the start of the game who put the Stellaron in you, so there's a lot more lore to her. Sampo, which I mentioned earlier, he's a masked fool, and there's something more going on with him. There's a lot of characters that are like putting on facades. There's Argenti. He likes pretty stuff. He like serenaded a plant. I don't know why. Dr. Ratio, he doesn't like idiots. That's literally something he said before. And yeah, like the characters, honestly, they've all got really cool designs in my opinion. They've got cool lore behind them. They got voice lines too. The last main thing, actually no, that's not the last main thing, but one of the biggest things is the music. Hoyoverse never fails with music, and the music for this one, each place kind of has a different vibe to it. I'm just gonna play one of the first battle themes and you will hear what I'm talking about.
I will be the architect of a new world.
Now that we've heard that, it just makes that whole cutscene and whole battle so much more epic. And there's a lot more music like that too. Or not exactly like that, but like as epic as that. The final actual last thing is the cutscenes themselves. The cutscenes are something I look forward to in each mission. They bring the story forward in a cool way. It's not just like, oh, you have to do everything yourself. You get to sit back and just watch the cool graphics and watch the characters just like beat each other up. And I think that's cool. So yeah, this first episode was kind of like an experiment type of thing. I hope it gets better from here. And I also hope that you are convinced to play Honkai Star Rail, because it's really cool in my opinion. I don't know if I'm just a nerd for saying that, but I think the story is really cool. Oh, something I completely forgot. It's turn-based. There's a lot of like opportunities for people who like to like do big damage. There's a lot of chances to build your characters too. There's a whole relic system. You can like upgrade their attacks and stuff. The ultimates have cool like animations to them. That's one of the biggest parts. So yeah, I completely forgot about that. But it's got a cool combat system. I will admit, I actually have fun fighting bosses, even though sometimes I like almost rage quit because my characters aren't strong enough to fight them. But yeah, this is the end of the first episode. I hope that you enjoyed. I hope I will save this by editing it well, because I sound like I'm running out of breath, because I am. But yeah, I'll end my suffering and end this episode. So bye.